Hi everybody, this is Brad Pipkin with Dream Builders TV, and we're here with Brian and Christian, the builder and the owner of this lovely vehicle here, part of the Great 8 finalists for the Riddler Award in 2013. So we were talking a little bit, hoping to get a little bit of an understanding about how you came to this point. You know, it sounds like you had not started out with this in mind. This is something you had intended to be a daily driver originally. So how do you go from deciding daily driver to going all in and saying, let's go for that Riddler?
Patience.
Yeah. I mean, I think it just developed over time. At a certain point, people were really caught off by it, and we decided there was a possibility to compete, and we just kept going with the design. The finishes got nicer and nicer, kept refining every little area, and then product is what we have.
Had you got it to an assembled point and looked at it again and said this is, or had it been disassembled and through that creative process the entire time?
We assembled the car a year ago and drove it about 150 miles.
Kind of a shakedown, if you will.
Well, told him if you want to beat on it, do it now. So we ran it about 150 miles and, burned a set of tires off of it, and we took it apart and made it pretty.
And how much change to the design did you have to do since then?
Basically none. The car was completely done.
It was more refining.
Yeah, just the
level of detail at that point.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got started with the original idea. Now, when you decided to go for the Riddler, how much of the design changed after that?
The car was basically as it is. I mean, it was just a finished level. And the level
we never really thought about the Riddler. We thought about the Great 8. I came out here with my wife about 4 years ago, and I said, we should try to make the Great 8. And
just see if it goes.
And then, wouldn't you know, we get it done on a 50th annual.
It's all coincidence.
Yeah.
Never had any of this in mind.
But see, and so you're probably riding high on life right now as far as being selected, as far as the greatest.
Yes.
It's got to be one of the greatest things from a builder standpoint as well as from an owner standpoint, right? And so the other questions we're asking is if you had to give advice to somebody that was considering from an owning standpoint or from a building standpoint, a little bit different story, but from an owning standpoint, what would you recommend as to whether or not they should go and seek after this, intentionally seek this out as a milestone that they want to accomplish?
Personal decision, I guess. I mean, looking back, I don't know what I would change other than, I don't know. I guess I would have a hard time.
I think you need to have a lot of patience, and you can't. We had a lot of time to build this car. It took us 8 years to build this car. We were never pushing to get this car.
No major milestone, and you just found yourself, okay, it's available, I can submit.
This car's been done for at least a month, just sitting there waiting to come here.
And some of the unique relationship that Brian and I have is that, he never says no to my ideas. So I bring in a lot of modern day kind of supercar-ish ideas, and he's kind of okay, I'll just find a way to do it. So it allowed me to be creative and keep kind of developing my ideas, and I never had that idea no, it's just not possible. Well, within reason.
It just took time to learn how to do it and then just get it done.
Exactly. No is not really the answer. It's just give me some time to just let me figure out how to accomplish this. Exactly. So
part of the time, and we had just a lot of time to actually then develop these designs and see it through.
And he was very patient. No matter what it took for me to learn to do whatever we wanted to do on the car, he let me do it.
And you said that you've been building cars for him since he was 15. How many other cars have you built?
I've built him a street rod pickup and a hot rod motorcycle, and I've built a couple vehicles for his family also.
And you said you don't do this professionally. This is kind of just a relationship between you guys.
This is just what I do.
See that? See that's another aspect from a builder standpoint. Oftentimes we find out, or I've been finding out that people are just kind of waiting for a patron to come in that is willing to back them from an idea standpoint and the solidarity all the way through. Just this is something that we're going to accomplish, and it's a rarity to come across this. So it's good whenever you find this mix and match, especially whenever you have that creativity, that communication in between each other, and that trust to be able to accomplish that. And so it sounds.
For some odd reason, it just seems like when he tells me what he wants, I seem to be able to vision what he'd like.
Yep. Excellent. Now, so with the award ceremony tomorrow, and it's something, if you guys don't win, what is the next step that you do when you don't win, if you don't win?
I would say nothing changes. I mean, we still want to show the car, a couple other shows. Yeah. It is built to be a driver. Yep. We've already driven it, drives great, and eventually after we're done showing it, probably in this calendar year, put it in my garage and
drive it a little
get to
bit.
enjoy it. Yeah, get to drive it. Like it's.
Yep.
That's what it's for.
Yeah,
Exactly.
We're doing a 67 Mustang yet, but as of now, we don't have any intentions of making it this caliber of car.
Okay. So design specific or engineering specific on some of this. Can you walk us through some of the highlights of what you've done? Things that stick out as far as what you want to point out.
Well, before I went to work for Chris, I was a chassis builder in a drag race shop. So that's where the all-tube chassis came from. The guy I used to work for suggested that we use the miniature strut front end.
Yeah.
Seems to be something that not too many people have ever done. So
Good uniqueness to it, at least.
definitely. So we went with that, and I basically learned how to form sheet metal on this car.
Brand new English wheel, or yeah.
A little bit of schooling.
Yeah.
And that's where it came from. I was a chassis builder and a welder and so on and so forth, but through patience we learned how to form the body, and it's almost an hand-formed body.
And that was the next question. Is obviously the hood and the side panels are going to have to be from scratch, but most likely even all the way through the doors and most of the shell.
We bought the grill shell, we bought the cowl stamping, and we bought 2 quarter panel stampings, and everything else is handmade.
Okay. And everything else has just been very hand custom fit, even up in through the dash area, or is that an original dash as well?
No, that's all been handmade too.
What about from a mechanical standpoint on the engine, on the fuel? Is it a fuel injection system, or are these velocity stacks?
27 Ford with a manual 5-speed.
Straightforward, to the point. It's a runner. It's a good driver. Accomplishes what it needs to.
The unique things like we've found out along the way, the rake of the grill, that's the maximum we could get and still have a radiator function from.
So the coolant would still flow into the engine without like an assisted pump.
Oh wow, yeah. And that was a trial and error process, or was that?
We set it at 45 degrees and it looked like it would work.
Right. From a design element, we knew we wanted a really raked, and then we wanted the wheels forward. But at a certain point, you can't get them any farther because then you run into the suspension.
You used to.
The car weighs 2,450 pounds, and the 60% of the weight is on the rear tires.
Wow.
So it turned out
Just about right. Now, mocking up all of the layout and the lines and everything in there, how long did that take out of the multiple years?
Not that long. We took the existing quarter panel and shot it to a point on the grill shell where we knew that the reveal of the body would be below the radius of the hood, and that's where we went. Excellent. We matched the line on the cowl in between, and
yeah, I mean, I can remember that we actually used like masking tape, blue masking tape.
I went out and bought a laser light, and we were shooting it down the car. And
so much of that you have to do by hand, exactly like that, right?
Yeah. And it was like, well, let's see if it looks good. Can we connect these two?
Yep. And then form it to fit that shape, right?
Yeah. Made the tooling and hammered out the body reveal. And
So in that category of the creativity, what do you think would highlight from your standpoint for the creativity, for the judging?
Wow. I think the key elements I see that I like, that I love, some of the metal detailing. The windshield is it's one-off. Front end suspension is great. Brian, I mean the whole thing.
Every billet part on the car was made for this car only, and
So was the windshield post machined, or was that cast originally?
they were all machined.
All machined.
Yeah.
So it's actually scanned with a laser to get us, the actual plane, and then we actually, send that. So it's perfectly machined to fit the car.
Gotcha. Okay.
In the beginning, we were sending parts out locally to have them machined, and about 4 years into our build, we got a CNC ourselves, so we started doing it on our own. So
Just might as well bite the bullet at that point, right?
maybe it was cheaper. I don't know.
Well, maybe, but the learning curve is there. But exactly, if you've got the time available to go through that, you can do iterations significantly quicker. So
Some other cool things like the air inlets are nice. It's a nice feature. The side ones are actually for brake cooling because we have inboard brakes with the rear end.
functional brake cooling.
Yep. So that's kind of a fun, more like a supercar kind of idea. It's really what I like. I mean, it's just the exhaust, the way it comes out through the back is, it's tied in with the actual body.
So we were talking earlier about the presentation of the build book and so
Yeah.
forth. Whose idea was that?
My wife's.
Yeah, wife.
Yeah.
And
She works in that kind of industry, and
design and
Yeah.
publishing, if you will.
knew the right people, and
Yeah. And so I noticed some of the see-through shots. That was all very well professionally done as
Yes,
far as
yes,
setting
it
up a
was,
booth.
yep.
But then some of it's the dismantled portions, so you had to plan that in
a lot of it was
advance.
just pictures that I took as we built the car.
Really, and you
Yeah.
just happen to be able to match it at that exact same camera angle to be able to fit.
Well, no, all of those
Yeah.
pictures were professionally done. All the
that was-
see-through pictures were done.
And that is definitely one of the things that jumps out at me. But again, I kind of come from that background a little bit as well. So, well,
The wheels. Gotta include the wheels. The wheels are kind of.
They're all built one-piece machine.
one off, I assume.
By EBOT Industries in California.
The motorcycle we built in the interim, when we took a 1-year gap, actually has the matching set of wheels to this. And originally we were going to do it as like yeah.
We were going to, yeah.
And then at a certain point, kind of like grew apart. But ironically, yeah, the wheels are unbelievable. I mean, very special.
A lot of time spent from a machining standpoint to accomplish that too.
Yes. They have a great movement to them, and there's very nice pieces.
Now, so the other category, engineering, that would fit into a category of engineering for me. Probably some of the fuel injection system up here as well. What about from a workmanship standpoint? That's the one that, from my perspective, is a little subjective sometimes. So, from your standpoint, as the owner on this, workmanship, what does that mean to you on your car?
I mean, I've always had a trust in Brian's level of quality, and I think that's never been. I just knew it was there, so.
We just took however long it would
Yeah.
take to make it as nice as, when we set out to build this car, we said we'd try to make every piece that we possibly could ourselves and make it as nice as we could. And the other thing that we wanted to do is we wanted to have as few people work on this car as possible.
Too many chefs in the kitchen, inconsistencies.
Because so many cars have so many people that work on it, I thought it would be fun to keep that to a minimum.
And we're a small shop or a family, situation, so it's like.
More invested in it from a connection standpoint, from exactly an honor standpoint whenever you're all said and done, because that's the workmanship, is the pride and honor that you feel in the completion of it, regardless of whether being nominated. Aside from all of this, is just being able to stand here, look at it, and say, I knew exactly what I built is the best that I could whenever I did this, because I was afforded the opportunity and time.
Exactly. We had the time to make it as best as we could.
You can go through a couple of iterations without the concerns of having to compromise too much. It's like, give me the opportunity to do this, and I will show you what I can accomplish. So, all right. Well, I think that's the majority of the questions that I have.
Great.
Yeah. So, anything else that you specifically want to point out, like I was talking about, as far as highlights?
Back to your question about advice to people, I would say, now that we've gone through this, it's not as intimidating as I guess I would have thought it would have been. It's a lot of fun, but as far as design, I would just go for anything. I mean, I don't think there's any barriers to like getting in here, or like you got to have a certain, obviously you can just take so much time on the finish, but kind of open my eyes to what's, the cars that qualify for the 8 and then obviously the award. So
there's no specific year model, no specific style, just as long as it's quality and it's been done.
And I would just be original and follow. If you have an idea, follow it through, and then just do a great job. I mean, continue to develop your own idea of what it is and make it the best you can. And like, we never tried to come here, and we're here. So, I mean, it kind of shows that it can happen.
It can happen.
Yep.
Yeah.
For anybody, right?
We're so happy and humble and just having a great time.
Yep.
I'm Brian Mosbek, builder of Archetype. You're watching Dream Builders TV.